Hello and welcome to our tutorial series. In this 7-video series, I'll walk you through the basics of using Intuiface. You can find a link to the text version of this tutorial in the video description. This is a continuation of what we built in previous videos, so if you need to catch up, click here. The buttons we just added in part 5 need to point somewhere. Let's create those scenes and then update each asset flow button with a navigation action. Right-click the featured movie scenes in the Scene panel and then select the Add a Sequence option. The value of a sequence is to permit the designer to visually represent logically related scenes. Right-click the sequence line in the Scene panel and select Add a Scene. Change the name of this scene to Alice in Wonderland. As you did in the previous step, copy and paste the text asset from another scene and rename the text title to Alice in Wonderland. Resize the text box if necessary so that the entire title is visible. Insert an image. Add the image Poster Alice in Wonderland Released.jpg into the scene and move it into the right side of the scene. Note how we are reusing the same image content applied to an image button in the Asset Flow collection back on the featured movie scene. Content can be used multiple times in the same scene and across other scenes. Open the Properties panel and change the image width to 460 and the height to 678. In its container behavior in the Display Buttons category, select the Show Maximize button. Insert text. Insert the text asset just below the title. Add the following text using the font Calibri with a font size of 26. Add a video. Drag in the video Trailer Alice in Wonderland.wmv. Place it on the left side of the screen below the movie summary text and resize the width to 617 and the height to 447. Open the Properties panel and at the top, set Container to Static. In the Behavior category, select Autoplay and Play Loop. In the Poster subcategory, change the time property to 0 minutes and 5 seconds. In the Controls subcategory, select Show Timeline and Show Sound Control. Add a new navigational button. Add an image button to the scene, not the background experience layer, and name it Back Button. In the Properties panel for this button, clear the text property. Change the Pressed Image and Released Image, resize the width to 177 and the height to 128, and then rotate it 70 degrees. Drag this button to the top left of the scene and place it behind the Home button. Add a trigger action pair to this button so that the released action causes a navigation to the featured movie scene. Add a navigation action to the appropriate button in the featured movie's asset flow. Return to the featured movie scene and, using the Scene Structures panel, select the button in the asset flow representing Alice in Wonderland. Add a trigger action pair to that button so that the released trigger causes navigation to the scene within the sequence named Alice in Wonderland. Let's take a break here to stop and test our work. Hit F5 on your keyboard or press the play button in Composer. Slide the asset flow with your finger or mouse until you see the image for Alice in Wonderland and then select it. Verify that the actions work as expected. Hit the Escape button on your keyboard to return to Composer's edit mode. Now, let's finish the rest of the Director of the Week experience. Copy the Alice in Wonderland scene and paste 4 copies into the sequence. Modify each of these 4 scenes to contain content specific for the other 4 Tim Burton movies provided with this tutorial. Update the featured movie's asset flow with navigation actions for the other 4 movies. So that's it. You're ready to move on to the final video in this series. I hope the video was fun and informative and that you were inspired to create and develop your own unique experiences. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next step of this tutorial.